Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication.
Hello and welcome to Mercy TV Live, your medical cannabis call-in show, happening here on Channel 23. Just give us a call at 503-588-6444. Call today, don't delay. Operators are standing by. Greetings, my name is Perry, and along with Sunny, we'll be hosting this segment of Mercy TV Live. Just give us a call with your medical cannabis related question, comment, curse, or kudo. And our panel of experts here will be happy to try to get you a reasonable and sound answer. If we don't know, we'll certainly direct you where to go to get it.
Well, you know, a lot of people out there are hearing a lot of things, especially with the dispensary and the dispensary laws. Are you hearing about the legalization laws? There's so much going on, and I hope everybody that's watching the show will at least take the time to get the facts right. And the facts are this: the legislators have put a bill and done stuff to help us get our legal cannabis. One thing that everybody needs to remember, don't give up our medical cannabis. Medical cannabis means that we can have gardens and that we can have a certain amount of medicine to last us. Now, all of these legal states are getting their medicals messed with. We don't want our medical to be messed with, you guys. It's too important for the patients that are using medicine as a medicine, and it's their daily lives and how it affects them. You know, this is so important. Everybody out there today, if you know somebody that should be using cannabis, you should talk to them and tell them what the deal is, Perry, because there's so much, all of the things. Look at PTSD.
Yeah, we just had PTSD added. The new forms, we were looking at one today, looking at seeing it there in all its glory. And that's a great boon to those folks that was previously forced into the black market, into back alleys, into uncomfortable situations with their PTSD, trying to get medical cannabis to soothe it. Now they can legally get their card, go to find a grower, get the growing themselves, or go to one of the medical marijuana facilities that will hopefully be allowed to come online in a neighborhood near them. Currently, there's a bill in play, Senate Bill 1531, and that is to allow municipalities and counties to outright ban dispensaries without due process, a good reason, etc. And this is a follow-up to these kind of hearings, these kind of meetings that we're seeing, like the Marion County is having on Monday at the Kaiser Community Center. I think the time is 8:30. Do we have a confirmation of that time? No, check it out. Visit our website at mercycenters.org for all the information that there is, certainly what we have and what others contribute to this. As we said, there is Senate Bill 1531, which is the give Marion County and others the power to do this outright without having to bother with holding hearings for people to talk about how patients need access to this medicine. In some cases, the only medicine that works. Just to round out the legislative agenda in this short session, we also have Senate Bill 1556, which is to allow outright legalization. Also, House Bill 4023, which has a provision in it to allow a discount for veterans in their application for medical cannabis here in Oregon. That would be a big boon for them, in addition to this PTSD being added. Furthermore, there's a bill concerning a concealed handgun permit. It's House Bill 4068. It is to allow folks with the previous cannabis conviction to still seek a concealed permit here in Oregon. It sounds like a good thing. Folks should check that out. There's a couple of others that warrant folks to look at. In any case, you should call your representative and be prepared in this 2014 session to elect or de-elect them accordingly. Sonny, you know, that's was a big thing for folks that were, when we were trying to get PTSD in the campaign, folks were contacting their representative, in some cases told by their representative that they didn't think cannabis was medicine, and in any case, these veterans shouldn't be doing drugs, even though they're practically being killed by the pharmaceuticals being forced upon them.
Well, you guys, these are the things that are going on with our people that we are putting in office to do that. It is so important that a lot of people don't have time, they don't care, and I understand that. What we do have to do, though, is get an opportunity to listen to what's going on, especially with this cannabis. The biggest thing that I see is that all of the patients are going to be stepped on because they're like, you know what, they're not really patients anyway, it's not really medicine. Well, no, it is medicine, and I would hope that everybody understands that it's very important that we treat cannabis as medicine. Now, we, as a society, we're responsible enough to be able to grow cannabis. Do you know the biggest thing why they want to regulate it other than make money off of it is because we can't be responsible?
Right.
Is there something wrong with us, us people, everybody I know that uses cannabis? It just is so infuriating because you guys, how many people out there use cannabis and they don't have no problems?
Right. You know, it's we're seeing reefer madness all over again. The classic refrain is, what about the children? Oh my God, we've got these medibles, these concentrated medibles. Not only are they out there in brownies and cookies, but in candied form, lollipops, la la la. And what's not being heard in all the shouting is that cannabis is safe, effective medicine. In all the history of its use, no one has died from it, including the children there. Pets, kids have been getting into folks' stash for quite a while now in the history of cannabis consumption. And folks generally act responsibly and practical. You know, first off, they get that out of their reach and all. They learn the first time because it's not just a matter of common sense. You know, it's a matter of dollars and cents. I mean, once your stash is gone, heck, you got to go replace it. What the heck is going on, you know, there? So you'll learn the community is responsible. People who are just now beginning to be medical cannabis patients, folks that were retired, you know, they've been away from the scene or never were into it. You know, we got a lot of folks coming to medical cannabis that are know nothing about it. You know, and they've still. The only information they've got is the reefer madness stuff. You know, it's addictive. It could be lethal. You know, horrible, and it has no. It's not a medicine. It's not effective. You know, there's other things out there that are better. You know.
Well, like the guy that was at the office the other day, he said, you know, I believed all these years that cannabis was bad, and he said, but look at my arm. He goes, that cancer is going off my arm.
Yeah, sir.
And layers and layers of skin were healing, but in the very center you could see how it was eating away at the cancer. And that is so important. What a beautiful thing. I told him, you have to show, I mean, you're one of the people, I got people sending in CDs showing us how the cancer on their heads heals, and their arms and their face. And now this guy, I mean, these are so amazing, amazing. These are people that have went through all kinds of treatments with all kinds of doctors and did all kinds of things, and they've got sick. And you know, here we, as a group of just patients trying to help some people, we need to help all of the people, because you know what, there's a lot of people, because you know 10 people and he knows 10 people. God, in just a little group of people, there's 100, 1,000 people, and everybody knows 10 people out of that. I mean, that's a large group of people who, if you could give everybody a little bit of oil and watch them rub the oil, and there's two kinds of oil. The oil that all these people are blowing up is one kind of oil. You know, well, because it's all you hear on the news is about the butane, and the butane is what they're blowing people up with. The oil I'm talking about is when you use olive oil or grapeseed oil or coconut oil. All of these oils can be used as an extractor, and when you rub that stuff on you, I don't know, we're seeing great results.
Yeah, along with butterfats, there's another category of things to use for the process. But yeah, the honey oil, the golden cannabis oil, these are used with a solvent of that nature. The downside is that it quite often is not able to eliminate all the aspects of the solvent. There could be some residue there that's not the most beneficial for folks in every case. So, and the process has its hazards. It's used as a flammable solvent, butane, as Sonny was saying. And so you have to be in the open air. You can't be in enclosed things. You certainly don't want them to spark around it in any case. And for the standard patient or a folk that somebody that's taking care of a patient, and sometimes a patient themselves, the process is not as easy as we would like it to be. Plus, those are generally consumed orally and can only be taken one way, although this is a favorite thing to put into those new vapor pens, pipes of that nature. So there is a good side benefit to it. The thing, though, that Sonny was pushing is to use organic oils, things like the coconut oil, the apple seed, others, that not only is it very safe in its making, it's very easy in its making there. You just put it in a container, put the stuff in.
Well, and it takes heat. And
Well, in some cases you can do that the heated method where you cook it, but there's also the cold fusion.
We don't want all of the high heat and all that. It's the low heat.
Right, that's something to let folks know when you're cooking it, with either making butter or in your oils.
Well, because everybody has a different way. You can go on YouTube, you can listen to 10 different ways on butter, on oils that we're talking about, on other butane things. So you just go through and find what you need that you feel, especially when you got a particular medicine that's working for you, and the oils or the butters are
Right, you want to concentrate it. Well, you need to concentrate it. In some cases, the plant's really sparse, and you need to take all you have and get the most out of it.
You know, that's what's important. If you can do that, if you need some help, please call us at the Mercy Center. Everybody down there is a patient. Everybody knows how to do the butters and oils and all the things because everybody's teaching.
Right, and a good thing, an important thing to point out about the organic oils, in some cases creams, like a Noxzema cream, if you infuse it with the cannabis, you can apply it topically. In so doing, you're avoiding the toxicity. You're not going to get high from it. Another thing is that you won't test positive for cannabis use applying it that way. So something very important to pass out there to the community. Certainly a lot of folks we deal with, they don't want to get high. As we said, they're retired, they're coming to it from a position where they're not there to get high. And so very important thing to pass on. While we're getting important information out there, I'd like to talk to folks who experience seizures, take cannabis, medical cannabis for their seizures, in addition to medication, pharmaceuticals.
Right. Well, everybody that's came to us usually tells us how good the cannabis does them for the seizures. And they want to argue about their medications that doctors put them on for their seizures.
Right.
And you know, I've been on so much of it for so long and had a lot of this. And this is something that's very important. People should not stop their drugs. Right. They should keep their drugs and use cannabis to help them. The thing is this, if you stop those drugs, you won't be, you know,
well,
you'll have so many other issues.
Right. You know, and there's degrees of seizures. You know, there's the first aid, grand mal, and so forth. The important thing is that these folks are stopping their seizure medication and not telling their doctor. And it's very important to keep your doctor in the loop on your seizure medication.
Well, and everybody that I've talked to and all the doctors, they don't want anybody to stop because they feel that when you stop, that could bring the seizure on.
Right. See, they get very upset when they find out that you did it without letting them know.
The amount of particular pill that you're taking is a blood level that allows it to work in your system. If you're not taking it, it's not at a therapeutic level.
Right.
At that therapeutic level, it will help you not to have seizures. If you're not taking it, then it's not going to be therapeutic, and you probably, the chances of you having a seizure are better. And you know, these are the things that, is it worth it? Not to me. I mean, a lot of people out there have told me, oh yeah, because the side effects from the seizure medicine is so bad. Man, and I hear you there. The seizure medicines have such horrible, horrible side effects.
But you can ameliorate them with cannabis then.
You know, it's all of that. I mean, there's so many trade-offs and back and forth. So people really, I mean, you've heard them. You've heard them.
Well,
They've come in and said, we will not use.
Right. I'm feeling better. I haven't had a seizure. It's got to be the cannabis. I haven't felt this good, and so forth. The same situation we've encountered sometimes with folks taking cancer medications. We've had the cancer doctors speak to us, those that are willing to sign for folks, gotten more information, been very progressive on it. We've gotten some feedback, so we know that they're pro medical cannabis. When these doctors tell us to tell the patients to not simply stop your cancer medication because you're feeling better and all, and certainly don't cut them out of the loop. You know, it's a same thing as with the seizure medication, as Sonny was saying. Make sure that blood level is there to be effective enough, and utilize that cannabis to ameliorate the side effects, the symptoms from the medication, and to help us do its work and get off of it as soon as possible. But most of all, don't cut your doctor out of the loop. Get your doctor from the get-go in on this process to help you get your medical cannabis card. It's safe medicine, it's effective medicine, and there's ways to have access to it. Do not be afraid of the big bad wolf that's still very much out there, unfortunately.
Well, and Perry says that, and one of the biggest things that we've seen here in the last few weeks, last couple of months, is everybody, I have a narcotic that I'm taking, but I use cannabis most of the time, and I've dropped my narcotics in half or less.
Right.
So now, here's a doctor saying, well, you know what? If you're not going to use a narcotic, you can't use any. And man, it is so many people's problem because they're trying not to use any, but then they end up using some, and then their doctors cut them loose, and now they're out there and they don't have any doctors, and everybody's going, well, isn't there a list? I mean, if anybody knows of a list of doctors or some help, please call us, because we can use that list. A lot of people call every day, and that's all we need. We need another person to say, here's a doctor, and he will take people that do this. Well, because how important is it? Very. We had 2 calls today on that. That alone.
Right. It's ongoing. You know, the situation where used to be it was just mostly opiates. Folks were on opiates as well as the medical cannabis. In some cases, they had a pain management contract of some nature. Somehow that allowed them to wedge the feds in there.
Right.
So now you can't be using marijuana, an illicit drug, with this Schedule II prescribed. My DEA license will be
well,
threat. You know,
and that's the concern, you guys. The doctors, to be able to prescribe those narcotics, have a license. And that license is very important to them, because if they lose that license, then being a doctor doesn't really help them.
They can't prescribe those, and in some cases they consider it a viable part of their therapy, of their pain options and stuff. But if it is, then they shouldn't be playing this game with them. And furthermore, to have it expand, as Sonny was saying, to other areas of the pharmacopoeia, then And it's not done for any valid, good reason. As I was saying, in every case, it has been beneficial if it has an effect. It has certainly never been a negative. It's never been proven to be contraindicated. It has not made a situation worse. So,
well, and
what's
people,
the story there, huh?
And people should be aware that today there's going to be a lot of things going on that are very much the sound of what people heard of when Reefer Madness was happening and how bad everything is with the cannabis. And please don't allow people to say that. That is not true. I mean, it shows how uneducated they are. It definitely shows their position on, I don't want to say Republican, blah, 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 but a lot of people we're seeing are very, very much against this cannabis, and they sound like they are Reefer Madness. I mean, they're reading the book. Like, are you serious? Did they not understand that all the studies and stuff that have been done and that we know cancer and epilepsy and Parkinson's disease and arthritis and
all those studies, all those facts, all that science is not really important to them. It doesn't make their point. It doesn't get them that bill or that funding or the other things that they're looking for to keep this war going. They rather rely on ridiculous stories, things that are obvious hoaxes, like the story that was put out how 37 people died on the first day of legalization in Colorado. It was a total satire, and yet that story was used as testimony, as evidence in Maryland, where at a state hearing on the legalization issue, a police chief used that story in his testimony. Fortunately, in this case, he was called to task by a legislator who wasn't that gullible. But it points out how eager, willing, and ready that the prohibitionists are still trying to use Reefer Madness style stories and to try and, in this case, keep it going. I mean, that's what we heard to start it, and no small surprise that it's still being used to try to keep it going today.
Well, what we have is a little bit of a right to use cannabis. We shouldn't lose these rights. It's very important. Everybody out there, you know what? You have a brain. You know this cannabis is working. If you don't know that it's working, you probably do know somebody it's working. And you know, the thing is this, we have so many others that don't know really the truth. Please take the time and share the truth and know that, you know, it's really important because so many people don't know. I mean, Perry, look how many years this has been going on. This is so ridiculous. I mean, this is a lot of years of people really getting hurt in their lives with their families and marriages and schools and careers and on and on.
Yeah, prohibition has been nothing but a cost and a waste to society, except for those privileged few who actually profit from it in a sad, sick way. But we can't lose sight of the fact that it has killed more people, more children, than the thing we're supposedly being protected from. The only reason it still goes on is because it's our children that are getting killed. It's our tax dollars that are being wasted, while the children of the people pulling this are the ones who profit from it. It continues that cops got the best dope, that it's something being practiced on we the people, and obviously even the blind people, how it's just another stick, a tool for people of color and so forth. So and with an associated cost to society to go with it. But it's past time. People are sick and tired of the price tag that goes with it, especially in these hard times. And more we're seeing polls come forward. Citizens are voting that way. And we'll see in this next election cycle, 2014, citizens using this as the key issue that they're going to be deciding on their everyone running for office, from dog catcher on up, Sonny. We expect that and some bills possibly on the ballot too.
Well, when people have those kinds of things come up, Perry, can't they call and know what, get some, they get to find out what's happening. Well, what's the action that they can do?
Well, call your representative and then get a hold of everybody you know and get them to do so also. And make sure they get a hold of everybody they know and so forth. And when we get these numbers, calling and emailing and showing up at these sessions, writing letters to the editor and trying to organize a rally or something like that. But at the same time, look closely, carefully, logically, reasonably at medical cannabis for yourself or a loved one. It's the smart decision, it's the good financial decision, but it's quality of life too.
And that's what's so more important than all the things that are going on about cannabis with these dispensaries and all the people and all the people in the legislatures wanting to make money on us. People, it's their lives, bro. It's their lives we're talking about. And you know what? If you could help somebody with cannabis, don't you think, what a gift. What a gift, because you heard something that you can rub it, you can eat it, you can smoke it, or you can vaporize it. And if you don't know what vaporizing is, it's hot air, and it just is so good because a lot of people say, it's the best method.
Right, it is. I mean, it is literally freed people from their wheelchairs. It's freed them from their beds. It's freed them from their homes. They get to go out. They get to be with family. They get to work. They get to have a life, as we said, case after case, like the person with MS having spasticity so bad that they were like stuck in their chair, they actually soiled themselves and stuff like that. And with the mere application of cannabis applied as a vapor in that way, with a vaporizer, boom, it was like a miracle. They unfolded like a flower. They got up, they cleaned themselves up, they went about. It was a beautiful thing,
And it just keeps getting better. A lot of these things are what is that we know is possible already. If you have any questions, please come by the office Monday through Friday. Everybody that's there is a patient, and they're all volunteers, and they'll help you with anything you got going.
Right on. Also, Wednesday nights at 1745 Capitol Street Northeast, 7 p.m. Patient meetup, and if you're not a patient yet, come there, get information how to be a patient. If you're a patient needing a grower, a good place. If you're a grower looking for patients, or if you're a grower that has issues with their garden, needs some help or stuff like that. All these things and more are issues that we deal with here at Mercy, the Medical Cannabis Resource Center.
Well, thanks, Perry. You and all these volunteers we have here, it takes so many people. Maybe you would like to come and help. Please give us a call anytime because we could use some help.
Absolutely. Check out our TV show happenings at mercycenters.org/TV. There you can see past recordings, when we do these recordings, and how you can help out, participate, and most importantly, spread the word. Again, tell your friends, tell your enemies. We want you to tell everybody you know, and then everybody you don't know yet.
Exactly. Thank you. Remember, we do this all the time. If you need any help, come by and give us a call.
Right. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the calls. And I can't say thanks enough to our crew and helping out there at CCTV especially. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time on Mercy TV Live.
You want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes, good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.